Hello, I'm Gareth Walker and I'm here for the West Yorkshire Football Show with a little bit of reaction to a couple of bits of news that have broken today regarding Bradford City. The first one's an interesting interview that the Telegraph and Argus have done with Richie Smallwood. That's broken or been published this morning, where he talks about his disappointment about being released, how it was unexpected and how he'd been willing to accept a 1 year extension, having initially wanted two. He said he spoke to David Sharp and said that he'd accept a 1 year, but then in his words, Graham Alexander has had a change of heart and decided not to offer anything. And he says he's shocked and disappointed. That's a shock to me as a supporter because, I was only guessing, but I thought that the reason that he hadn't been offered something was that he'd probably want 2 years and we'd only be willing to offer one. So the fact that he's come out and said he would have accepted 1 year, and that it's Graham Alexander that's had a change of heart when Graham Alexander was always one of his biggest supporters, that's a real shock to me. Obviously nothing's been said from the club's side yet. It'd be interesting to see what the club's opinion on that is and why they've made that decision. I'm sure that the Telegraph and Argus will follow up with an interview with Graham Alexander or ask for his comments on why Richie Smallwood's been released when he was willing to stay and accept a 1 year deal. Really, really interesting one. Second bit of news is that we've signed Curtis Tilt today, centre-back from Salford, has won promotion in League One before with Wigan Athletic. The signing's not been well received, I wouldn't say, by the majority of the fan base. They're probably looking at it thinking, is he really good enough for League One? He's been part of the Salford team for the last couple of years that haven't made the playoffs in League Two. He's also 33, I think he'll be 34 by the time the season starts. Not the quickest, although I always thought he wasn't the quickest. I've seen him a couple of times for Salford and I always thought he wasn't the quickest, but Graham Alexander's described his signing, described him as someone that's got a bit of pace about him. So it'll be interesting to see a bit more of him. Obviously, I've only seen him a few times for Salford. I've not seen him a lot, but I would say the general opinion of City fans is it's a little bit of a underwhelming signing. I'm told that he's strong in the tackle, good in the air, bit of a leader, and like I say, he has had promotion before, so that's probably what we've seen in him. But is he really the type of player that can take us to the next level in League One? It'll be interesting to see. He's also been given a 2 year deal, which again, when you marry that up with the fact that we didn't want to give Richie Smallwood a 1 year deal and they're a similar age, does appear strange. It's just not a signing that excites, but we have to wait and see what role he's going to play in the squad. I believe he's left-footed, so perhaps he's competing with Kieran Kelly for the left-hand-sided centre-back, or he's going to play in the middle. Like I said, that could come down to how much pace he's got. Graham Alexander said he's pacey, but fans who've seen him, including myself, don't particularly think that he is. You don't want him on the left-hand side if he's slow. He might be a competitor for the middle if that's the case. So yeah, a bit of an underwhelming signing, not really what City fans were hoping for as a second signing of the summer, but it remains to be seen whether he can kick on and perform to the previous standards that he obviously has in League One to get Wigan promoted in the past. It's just the fact that he's been at Salford for a couple of years in League Two and they've not really achieved, or they have underachieved in that division, and he's not been part of a promotion side. And we've picked him up at 33 and taken him into League One. It doesn't excite, but let's wait and see what further signings we have this summer and what role he's going to play at the back in the squad. Onwards and upwards with the West Yorkshire Football Show.